There is a strange truth in life. Sometimes it is only when you stop waiting, when you release the hope, when you finally move on, that he comes back. And when it happens, it can shake you. Because by then, you have done so much work. You have healed. You have begun to rebuild your life, your heart, your sense of self. And now, suddenly, there he is again, with messages, with apologies, with words you once begged to hear. Why now? Why only after you stopped hoping? Why after all this time? Carl Jung believed that the unconscious mind communicates through energy, through invisible signals that others can sense, even from a distance. And when you move on, when you release the emotional cords that once tied you to him, something shifts. Not only in you, but in him, in ways neither of you may fully understand. At first, when he left, you felt lost, confused, broken. You replayed every moment, every conversation, every silence. You wondered what you had done wrong. You questioned your worth. You longed for answers that never came. And then, slowly, painfully, you began to let go. You stopped checking your phone. You stopped rereading the old messages. You stopped holding your breath every time a notification appeared. You cried. You journaled. You healed. Until one day, you woke up and realized the longing had lessened. The ache had softened. You were no longer living for him. You were living for yourself. And it is in this moment, this powerful shift of energy, that something happens. When a woman lets go, when she reclaims her power, her center, her joy, she changes the energetic dynamic between herself and the man who left. She is no longer chasing, no longer attached, no longer feeding the invisible cord that once bound them. And this, Carl Jung would say, is when the unconscious begins to stir. The man feels it, even if he is unaware, even if he is with someone new, even if he is busy, distracted, moving through life. He feels the space where once your energy flowed toward him. And in that space, something awakens. At first, it may be subtle. A sudden thought of you, a dream, a random memory triggered by a song, a place, a scent. Then curiosity. What are you doing now? Has she moved on? Does she still think of me? And if he looks and sees that you are living, glowing, rising, the longing deepens. Because here's a truth that many do not understand. When a man knows he has lost your attention, he begins to miss it. Not just the attention, but the version of himself that he was in your presence. The man he felt he could be with you. And this is why they come back. Not because they suddenly woke up one day with clarity, but because the energetic field between you has changed. And in that change, a space was created for longing, for reflection, for regret. And so he returns, sometimes tentatively, sometimes boldly, sometimes with genuine remorse, sometimes with confusion, but always because something in him cannot forget. But here is what you must remember. When he comes back, it is not always because he has changed. Sometimes he comes back because he misses the feeling, not because he is ready to offer what you truly deserve. Carl Jung taught that until a person brings the unconscious into consciousness, they are doomed to repeat the same patterns. So when he returns, do not be blinded by hope alone. Do not rush to open your heart. Pause, reflect, ask yourself, has he truly done the inner work? Has he faced the reasons he left? Has he integrated the lessons? Or is this just a reflex of longing, of missing, of ego? Because the danger is this. When you have moved on, when you have healed, you are in a new place, stronger, wiser, more whole. And if you open the door too quickly, you may be pulled back into an old dynamic that no longer fits the woman you have become. So listen deeply. Trust your intuition. Let his actions, not just his words, show you what is true. And above all, know this: the fact that he comes back is not validation of your worth. You were always worthy. His return is simply a reflection of his own process. It does not define you. It does not determine your future. You have the power now to choose, to discern, to decide what serves your highest self. Because sometimes the greatest act of love is not in reunion, but in honoring the woman you have become, and knowing that you no longer need to be chosen. You are the one who chooses. In the next part of this journey, we will go even deeper into why this happens, how to navigate it with wisdom, and how to stay rooted in your own truth, no matter what he says or does. Because when you stand in your power, you will always know what is right for you. And if you want to understand yourself more deeply and finally uncover the hidden patterns that shape your relationships, I highly recommend the JUNG Method. It is a powerful guide that helps you awaken to your truth and transform how you connect. You will find the link pinned in the first comment. Now, let us go deeper. Because when a man comes back after you have moved on, it is not only his process that matters, it is yours. You have changed. You are no longer the woman who waited by the phone, who questioned her worth, who lived for his approval. You have walked through fire. You have faced your shadows. You have learned to stand on your own. And this is why his return can be so complex. Because you now have the power. The power to see clearly. The power to choose. The power to decide what serves your soul. At first, it may feel tempting. After all, he is saying the things you once longed to hear. He may tell you he has missed you every day, that he regrets leaving, that he sees now what he could not see before. And maybe some of this is true. But here is what you must ask. Has he changed, or has your distance simply triggered his longing? Because missing you is not the same as being ready to love you in the way you need and deserve. CARL Jung taught that the unconscious often seeks to resolve unfinished business. Sometimes his return is more about him seeking closure or soothing his guilt than about truly building something new. So listen, watch, let his actions speak louder than his words. Because a man who has truly done the work will show you in consistent, grounded ways. He will not rush you. He will honor your process. He will take full responsibility for his past actions without excuses. And most of all, he will respect the woman you have become, without trying to pull you back into the dynamic that once existed. One of the most common mistakes women make when a man returns is slipping into old patterns. It is so easy to fall into the familiar, the old emotions, the hope that this time it will be different. But without true change, history repeats itself. So protect the space you have created. Protect your healing. Protect your growth. And remember this: you are not the same woman. You have moved forward. And he must meet you here, in this new place, or not at all. Another thing to be aware of is the timing of his return. Often, when a man senses that you are truly moving on, when your energy has detached, he feels it on an unconscious level. It triggers his own wounds, his fear of loss, his ego, and this can drive him to reach out. Not from love, but from the fear of being replaced, from the fear of losing his grip on your heart. This is not love. This is control. And you must be wise enough to see the difference. CARL Jung reminds us that until a person becomes conscious of their patterns, they will act from them unconsciously. So observe. Has he done inner work? Has he reflected deeply on why he left? Has he faced his own fears of intimacy, of commitment, of vulnerability? Or is this simply a reaction to your newfound strength? If it is the latter, be cautious, because without true transformation, the old wounds will resurface. The dynamic will repeat, and your heart deserves more. It deserves a love that is rooted in growth, in truth, in mutual respect. Also, be prepared for the emotional wave his return can trigger in you. Even if you have moved on, even if you have healed, seeing him again, hearing his voice, reading his words can awaken old emotions. This is normal. It does not mean you are weak. It means you are human. So allow yourself to feel, but do not lose yourself. Stay anchored in who you are now. Stay grounded in the life you have created, because the true test is not whether he comes back, it is whether you remain true to yourself when he does. Whether you can meet this moment with clarity, with wisdom, with the full power of the woman you have become. And sometimes the most loving choice is not to rekindle the past. It is to bless it, to release it, and to continue forward. Because not every return is meant to be a reunion. Sometimes it is meant to be a final closure, a confirmation of how far you have come, a reminder of the strength you now hold. And if, after reflection, you do choose to explore a new chapter with him, do so slowly, mindfully, with eyes wide open. Set clear boundaries. Communicate your needs. Watch for consistent action over time. Because true change is not shown in grand gestures. It is shown in the daily choices, the steady presence, the willingness to do the work together. And if he cannot meet you there, trust that letting go again is not a failure. It is a victory. Because you honored your truth, you honored your growth, you chose yourself. And that is always the highest act of love. Remember this: you are not defined by who leaves or who returns. You are defined by who you become in the process, by how you rise, by how you love yourself, by how you create a life that reflects your worth. And in doing so, you become magnetic to the kind of love that can truly meet you fully, deeply, without fear. So today, if you are facing this moment, if he has come back after you have moved on, breathe. You are not the same. You have grown. You have healed. And now you have the power to choose. To choose what honors your heart. To choose what aligns with your soul. To choose what leads you into the next most beautiful chapter of your life. Because the truth is this: you do not need him to come back to be whole. You do not need anyone's return to be worthy. You already are. And from this place of fullness, whatever choice you make will serve your highest good. Whether it is to welcome him into a new conscious relationship, or to continue forward on your own path, rooted in self-love and clarity. Either way, you win. Because you have already reclaimed your power. You have already come home to yourself. And that, in the end, is the greatest love of all.